Hello and welcome back to Wild Beyond the Witchlight. We are episode 10, I believe.
It was.
So, if I recall correctly last time, one person did the recap and then the other person picked from the deck. Are we doing the same? Are we doing a switcheroo again?
Well, I did actually listen to it yesterday. So I could give the recap, but I picked from the deck last week, so...
I believe it is my turn to pick from the deck, and I did the recap last week, so if you do it this week...
Then we're square.
Then we're square.
So, remind me, where did we start that session? At the treehouse, yes?
Yes, the treehouse with the children.
So, we started having found a treehouse filled with children who were giving me a very Peter Pan and the Lost Boys vibe.
Yep.
A very strong vibe of that. And we expressed an interest in turning the hag's head from an outie into an innie. And the Lost Boys, for want of a better term, were very receptive to that idea. And so they introduced us to their unicorn friend. We had to put on some incredibly flimsy unicorn disguises to get there.
Speak for your fucking self, I got a 26.
Yeah.
Okay, we discovered that some very flimsy disguises could get us in there. For example, an assassin at one point turned up with a very crude wooden horn that didn't last very long at all.
Fatality.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So we found out some things about this this issue that we're dealing with. We found out that we had to be wary of the Bandersnatch, and there was a poem recitation. We found out that this unicorn's mate had its horn removed, and the unicorn asked us to save her mate, and also we were told that retrieving that horn would be very useful as well, which was corroborating information obtained from the wish spell. No, from the deck pulling true answer thing that I got.
Yes.
Following this, we then went to a toppled over tree to just have a look around and see what we could do to save the children and just cave this hag's head in. We had a quick scout around and quickly found the kitchen with a dragon in it and a dwarf in a small hole locked up and a young lady chained to the stove. We freed the young lady and the dwarf. We gave the dragon a very compelling suggestion to get in the bloody hole. And then we formulated a plan. We convinced the dragon to work with us in exchange for all the land he could hold. Brackets in font size 1 physically. Close brackets. We then waited until nightfall. Waited until midnight. Then we snuck into the hag's room and we performed an elderly assault. We murked her. She got one turn in, she got half a turn in.
Have you ever seen an entire rugby team beating up one old person? Because that was what it was like.
If there were trophies for beating up old people, you would all have a gold medal. But luckily there is not such a thing as far as I'm aware.
So at the end of that, these cursed hellish Viking warriors that Tommy summoned were then given the instructions to just go through and destroy all of the minions of the hag and free the children.
Yes.
And that's where we left it. At midnight with a bunch of Vikings charging through the house.
As we left off, Tommy currently still has like big curving red horns coming out of his face, and like a little moat of fire between them, and like a jagged crown of iron like surrounding his head. And like as the Vikings leave and head out to do his dark bidding, he's sort of like, and like the crunching of bone as they sort of sink back into his head. And right, how are we feeling? Thought you better work that.
Oh, that is horrific. I love it. Well, Tommy, roll me a d8 if you would be so kind. Oh,
3.
Okay, so you will have a pick of 4 cards. I am shuffling as we speak.
One of my players from my Friday game. This is the Monday game. Jessie, my friend, is an artist, and she is drawing a tarot deck based around the characters from this game. And this is our frog monk.
Oh, very cool.
So fucking cool. And it's like double-sided as well, because
That's cool.
Oh,
love it.
love it. Okay, so your choices are Temperance, Judgment, the Empress, and the Hierophant.
Ooh. So judgment. Second chance is justice. The Hierophant.
Judgment
Tradition.
says karma, balance, power.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing this from memory rather than from the version in the. Yeah. Empress. The Empress is like fertility and life. Hierophant is tradition and
Faith, culture, morality.
morality. Yeah, got it.
I mean, of the 21 arcanas, Judgment is the 20th.
22 major arcana.
Oh, you're right. The Fool is 0.
Fool is 0.
Yes.
I think with the last vestiges of his heritage that he briefly embraced to do this, leaving him, I think judgment.
Oh, I am so very glad you picked that one. So, the immediate effect, which is actually quite handy, is you're just coming out of. Actually, no, you didn't. You guys didn't get attacked. But the immediate effect is Greater Restoration is cast upon all of you with immediate effect, and so in a similar way to when the Vikings appeared. Sort of a tear in sort of the fabric of this space is sort of pushed apart as a skeleton in armor steps forward and kneels at Tommy's side, and then another one, and then another one, and an army, 25 skeletons are now kneeling before you and awaiting your instructions. We serve you, boss.
Right. Why? Who commands you to?
The universe.
What do you want to do?
Follow your orders.
See, that's quite a dicey ethical problem. Quite the little thoroughly ontological problem you pose. Right. 25 armored skeletons, you say?
Correct.
These skeletons, do they have intricate carvings on them?
I like that. Yes, they do.
Weird.
Do they have like, you know? So what kind of armor is it? Like plate armor?
Probably not quite that fancy. It will be studded armor.
I guess follow along and try not to get in the way for now?
Yes, boss. So they will, because you're in quite a small room.
I was about to say, like, so 7 Vikings charge out and 25 skeletons appear.
Yes.
Freya might just get out of the way, just move into one of the side rooms or something.
So they will.
So what do you want?
So they will basically attempt to sort of push themselves up against the walls, leaving the entrances free.
Right, how long are you going to be kicking around for?
Till until the end.
Well, the universe really is conspiring me to make me the leader of a legion of archdevils, isn't it?
Presumably, I think the end just means the end of the
The
session.
session.
Out of character, but in character.
Yeah, serve me till death. Okay. Right. You know what? Follow those flaming chaps and you know,
Follow their
head
lead.
out. Sorry.
Follow their lead.
Yeah. How intelligent are these skeletons, by the way, Mike?
Not very. They will.
Regular skeleton, like 1 intelligence or 3 intelligence.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Berserkers have intelligence 9, so I'm going to tell them to follow the berserkers' orders.
Interesting.
Because the berserkers have specific orders and the intelligence to follow through.
Okay. So there is now a clattering of bones as they attempt to charge down the stairs. And yeah, there is now the clattering of bones, and now the cries, because it would be no, you will hear metal striking metal, and then a child scream, and then a Viking says, "No, not them," and then clattering as they then proceed through the complex.
About what time do the sendings you sent me last week come through?
That is a very good question. So they would have happened probably at about 10 o'clock in the evening.
Or the fight with the hack?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I suggest, right, tell you what, I suggest, Spoils of War, let's have a look around, see what we can nick from the O'Dairy.
Yeah. Sure.
Can we try and investigate the room?
You absolutely can. Can I have investigation rolls from you all, please?
You sure investigation, not like perception?
It depends if you're investigating the room.
I mean, could we do both?
If you tell me what you're trying to look for with perception, I suppose. One moment, because I have forgotten. Because the way I view perception is.
So Rich's face there.
Has it always been +10?
I took expertise in investigation from first level. I just haven't really had a chance to use it.
Let me just double check something.
I mean, I have got a +9 to my perception.
Yeah. Yeah, Tommy's a real smart cookie. He just doesn't act like
it. So perception will.
If it doesn't fit, then
reveal.
don't worry about it. I'm just trying to be cheeky and use my +9.
So perception will allow you to search for things that are hidden, whereas investigate will cover things that are hidden and other things that may be of use.
Okay.
Is how I'm ruling that. So.
Well, either way, never mind. I rolled terribly.
What'd you get?
I got a 3 on the dice.
How does a 28 tickle you pickle, Michael?
Right. So, I'll recover the room for the general thing. So, because you kind of stood in front of the doll's house, with an investigation that high, and to be honest, Fenwick, you probably get this as well. Now that the heat of battle has disappeared, there is a jar of moths in next to the doll's house. And with that, you put together that is probably the creature that the witch sees when she first wakes up and subsequently forgets about. And that is the way that she bypasses her curse.
Well, it was, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. She will remember you, all 6 seconds of you, the blurring. So we've got the...
I think Tommy will let the moths out the jar.
Yeah. So you find a pair of embroidered velvet slippers worth 15 gold, a false eye made of solid gold, That's 25 gold pieces. A cracked hand mirror with a gaudy bejeweled handle and frame, which is worth 65 gold pieces. So you also notice that there is a rocking cradle. It's painted with images of green dragons, and they look very similar to Cradlefell, the green dragon that you have befriended.
Sorry, what did you say it was? A rocking horse?
A rocking cradle.
A
Sorry.
rocking cradle. What's a rocking
Yes.
cradle?
So,
like a crib for a baby.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
It's got the rocking chair runners on the bottom.
Yeah, exactly that. So, but for a dragon, and there's kind of a threadbare blanket there that's had a couple of holes burned through it. And so you also notice that you've got the other doors, so to the little side room, which I assume that you will also investigate as it's not actually locked. So this is the aviary. An old empty bird houses are nailed to the walls of this cramped room, and a dozen bird cages hang from the ceiling. The cages are filled with tiny clockwork sparrows. As the bird's gears turn, the air thrums with rhythmic ticking. Paper and quills are heaped on a small writing desk under the cages, and a pair of open windows overlook the forest beyond. Carved into the wall above one window is the word hither, and above the other is the word yon. Unfortunately, you can't actually see beyond this realm because of the fog that envelops the entire area. So upon investigation, the clockwork birds have names engraved into their chests. You've got Glyph, Pim, Zwi, and Clonk. And they're just kind of ticking to themselves. So upon the writing desk, you find several letters of interest. So they're handwritten, and the first one reads, "Sister, I don't have Illidian's horn. If I did, I would use it to free Bloody Beak and send it after the Jabberwock that lairs in the place and hunts in your forest. No matter what Endlin says, that burbling beast of a dragon is a threat to our coven and our 3 realms. How Zilbina managed to befriend it, I'll never know. Maybe we should ask her. Ha 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 ha. Much love, Lorna." Next one. "Lovely scab. The last time I saw the unicorn horn, it was in your possession. Pity you lost it, but fret not. I have gazed into the Ori of Tragedies, and it is revealed to me that Illidian's horn will be found. If worse comes to worse, recall that Illidian's mate still dwells in your forest. You could kill Lamorna and take her horn, assuming, of course, you're not too busy making toys. Your darling sister, End."
Could you copy paste these into the chat?
Yes, absolutely. I will do that now.
Thank you.
So the hag that we just killed, she is the one that that was last in possession of the horn, yeah? According to those letters.
Yes. No.
Scabatha wanted one, but
So the first 2 have been written. So 2 of them have been written by Bavlorna, and then 1 of them has been written by Endelin.
Sure.
And then the last one So, dear sister, there's no use asking Endelyn if she has the horn. She doesn't tell us anything. If we don't find it soon, I fear that the Jabberwock will do. I fear what the Jabberwock will do after it gets tired of prowling the forest and turns its fiery gaze elsewhere. God's bodkin, that thing give me nightmares. Must I remind you that we need a unicorn's horn to free creatures from the cauldron's time-freezing magic? It's not enough to know their true names, you know. Of course, my greater concern is that someone else finds the horn and uses it for that exact purpose. What do you think Zilbina will do to us? We treacherous 3 if she's no longer bound by the cauldron's magic.
I've got to pop off for a bit. Feel free to keep going without me. Just assume that Freya is fruitlessly searching with a terrible roll.
Okay. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay. The birds in the cage, do they seem unhappy to be in there, or?
They seem indifferent. They're not. They don't appear to be sentient, as far as you can tell.
Okay. So they are magic items rather than creatures.
Yeah, they.
Do you say they were clockwork?
They're clockwork. So they're.
Like if I offer one my arm, will it sort of jump on to my arm and walk along it?
It looks at you, but makes no movement whatsoever.
If I pick up a piece of paper, write a little note, and then give it to a bird, and address it to Fenwick.
Yeah.
What happens?
So So does the letter just say to Fenwick?
It says, "Dear Fenwick, sup? Lots of love, Tommy."
Cool. It will look at the paper, but it will not make any motion to grab it.
Were the 3 letters addressed? Like, were they in an envelope and have anyone's name on it?
So yeah. So they're not in the envelope, but they are. You can tell who they're from, but not necessarily who they're to.
It was more whether there was like a specific format, like a message had to be in, that we could gather from the letters.
I can, with a 28 on your investigation check, Tommy, I am happy to give you a slight hint that the 4 birds there have, like, their names are engraved on the front.
So if I say Zwi,
it will then perk its head and look straight at you.
and if I pass it the letter,
Cool.
Fenwick.
It then nods. It then flaps up, looks around, and then flies to Fenwick and drops it at your feet, and then returns back to its post.
Ah, what's up with you?
Send that back. Okay, so we could. I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
Fenwick goes to the writing desk and starts to write a very quick letter.
Sure.
I would also like to write a letter.
Oh, this is going to be good. Cool.
So I will address the letter to the current ruler of Froggy Bottom, or whatever it was called, the place where we set up the.
The puppet court.
And when I say to the current ruler, it's literally addressed to the current ruler.
Yep.
And the message will say something on the lines of, my most gracious liege, to the current viceroy. That's what the head frog in charge, not Lucius. And it will say something on the lines of, my most gracious liege, there is betrayal afoot in your court. I suggest immediately executing your 5 or 6 closest, most powerful subsidiary aristocrats. Yours, a friend, and then just
Okay.
turn that off.
that is so beautiful. I am actually awarding an inspiration point for that.
Excellent.
It'll take the form of a
Every
coin.
point, sure. I'll write out what it actually says, but yeah. Please continue. Sorry, to interrupt.
And Rich, what would you like to send?
My letter simply says "fuck you," and it'll be sent to Lord Lucius Lebrade. Maybe stop haunting me, you bastard.
Okay.
It's the most masturbatory self-hatred I've ever seen. I love it. It's so good.
Okay. I just need to check to see.
And it even reach him.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm double checking.
I guess only you know where his true location is.
Yes. Okay. So, okay, it flies out the window.
What was the little frog town called?
It's 2 moments, and I can.
Downfall?
So it is, yeah,
Or was that
downfall.
where? Okay. No, that was where the
down,
witch was.
yeah, so that's the general area. So it's the Soggy Court is specifically the area within Downfall.
Excellent.
There we go.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
What's in the other room?
It's a very good question, and one I haven't put a number for. Let me just double check. Is that just a balcony, I wonder? Yeah, that is just a balcony.
Echo. Right.
So we
Right
can
there.
see out sort of like that direction.
Yes. So, let me just click on, because what can you, if I click on, is there a way that I can, because what I might do at this stage is I might illuminate this entire section, given that you will now actually have time to.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I know how to do that. If you right-click on the loom lurch thing at the top and go down to configure.
It should just be unrestricted vision range.
Toggle off the token vision.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. Now we've got the entire map, but we can only actually see what we can see within range.
Ah, cool, perfect.
We found some clockwork birds, Ryan, that take messages to whomever you address them to if you tell them to. So we got, if you have any letters you want to send, feel free to do so. We had one that went to Lucius that went, I believe, what was it? Stop haunting me, you bastard.
Fuck you! Stop haunting me, you bastard.
And Tommy sent one to, and I quote, the current viceroy of the Soggy Court, saying, "My most gracious liege, be wary, for betrayal is afoot in your court. I suggest immediately executing your 5 or 6 most loyal followers, and then holding democratic positions to fill the positions with more loyal and worthy followers. They've got to be more loyal and worthy, right? Yours, a friend."
I am tempted. I'm not going to do it yet, but I'm keeping it in mind to send those birds to the frog hag.
Oh yes.
Once we have the portrait, to go, we have your portrait. Send transportation, and we'll bring it back to you. But I won't do that immediately. First, we need to get the portrait, and then when we get the portrait, we need to somehow do a Widder's Shins wise spiral on the back.
Yes.
Whether carve it into the frame or
just write in big letters at the top. Look at the right hand side, and then she has to turn it that way. To see another bit where he says, "Turn me again."
I was thinking maybe just dip my finger in some water and then just draw a Widdershins spiral on it, so that you can barely see it, but it's there.
Yeah. Right, shall we head into the other tower? Anything else? There's nothing else in here?
Not within that area, no. So if you
What does was it pet dragon? The thing that we gave ownership of the realm to, is he still hanging around with us, or has he gone off at this point?
So it's not been that long. So he's primarily watching and waiting to make sure that she doesn't come back, because he's not 100% sure that she's dead. Because everything happened so quickly, he's not sure if he teleported out or not. So he appears to be investigating the area and her corpse to ensure it is indeed her.
Yeah.
I
He doesn't
mean,
have any
we've double checked that she's
looting
dead,
upon
right?
her. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we would have looted her body.
No, as far as no, because she was sleeping, so she wouldn't have really had any possessions on her. Yeah.
We'll do the obvious ones like bookcases and under the bed and creaky floorboards and stuff, but otherwise head out to
Also,
the...
in the doll's house, check in the doll's house for anything that she might have brought in with her but not taken out because we took her out, and then we took her out.
Yeah.
So, no, there are small bits of doll's house furniture, but they appear to be. Do any of you have detect magic tool?
Oh, let me just double check. No, I've got identify.
Well, so
I think I used to have it, but I got rid of it because Lucius had it. No, we don't have Lucius anymore.
No. I've forgotten something very, very major. Tommy.
Yeah.
If you're searching the doll's house, in the attic of the doll's house,
Yeah.
there is a wand that falls out that bears an engraving with a set of wings.
Okay.
This item very much calls to you.
The engraving of the wings, do the wings look familiar?
They do, yes.
I think as Tommy picks this up and looks at it and recognizes what it is, I think he is expecting that he would, fully like devil out again and the horns would come back and he'd cry blood. But he just turns to the two magic people in the room, because he's not magic, he's a devil, and he has his just biological powers, really. That's where his class levels come from. And he turns to you two, who are the people who might be able to fix this, and with a real sheer vulnerability and no trace of cockiness or aggression or anything in his voice, says, "Can you help me fix it, please?"
Sure.
Yeah, I'll hand over the wand.
I'll take 10 minutes to cast Identify. 11.
Cool.
No, 10 minutes and 10 seconds, however long.
Yeah.
I cast Identify so that I can learn its properties and learn how to use it.
So, let me just bring up the right page, because I have to remind myself, but I'm pretty sure it is... interesting. So it is... oh yeah, because I created a custom one. So it is a wand of flying, which mechanically will allow you to cast the flight spell, is it?
Fly is the spell.
Yeah. Sorry, 2 seconds. There we go. So, yeah, so it will allow you to cast the spell Fly. And it has 6 charges, and you will regain 1d6 charges every 24 hours. It's currently fully charged. Freya, when you cast Identify on this, you can hear you can hear hell screams, arguing, and the very brief scream of pain of a child.
Well, I don't speak Infernal. I speak Celestial, but not Infernal. So I'm going to say that I don't understand the screaming.
It's a scream of pain. It's not.
No, I
actually
meant the argument screaming.
Oh, right. So yeah. The argument means nothing to you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll hand it back and go. Okay, so it looks like.
So as you go to hand it back, Tommy like shies away, like he thinks it's going to burn him, and then doesn't say anything.
Right, in that case, Freya. Yeah, Freya. Then, yeah, if Tommy's shying back, Freya will just pull her hand back and go. Okay, this wand, it appears to imbue the power of flight for a short period of time, but you have to focus when using it. I think if we were to, I presume these are yours. I imagine there might be a way to reattach them permanently, but that might be outside of our. It might not be something that we can do immediately.
Okay.
Now I can give this back to you if you want, and it won't actually activate anything. I did hear some kind of argument in a language I didn't understand, and a scream when I was investigating it, but that's all the link that I got. I can hold on to it if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure.
Okay.
I think Tommy at this point looks like a frightened 6-year-old again.
Well, if you ever want it back, you just have to ask.
Thanks. Cheers. Freya. And then like putting a performer putting a mask on, he goes, "Right, we're gonna have a look at that other tower, shall we?"
Yeah, I've got this wand of fly. I don't think I'm going to need it. My next class feature, next level.
I know what your next class feature is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're coming back into the study.
Need to unpause the game for us, Mike.
Yep.
Boop.
Can we have a general poke around in here, see if there's anything worth?
Yes.
Loot the entire place.
So it contains a whole bunch of different books around Feywild lore. They are unlike a lot of things in this place. They're actually written in Elven, not in Fey. I'm not sure if any of you actually speak the Elven language or understand
Elven?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I speak Elven.
There you go. So, so there's a children's book, all things sticky, slippery, and sweet. There is.
Oh, a children's book.
Oh no!
There is sort of phantasma conundrums. So it's an illustrated book of different puzzles and riddles. So there's a book about Nibbogs.
Nilbogs. Ooh.
Nilbogs, brilliant.
Nilbogs. Sorry. Yep. Pity He's an Elf, which is a collection of short stories. There's there's one that you vaguely recognise, Tales from the Gloaming Court. It's a collection of books covering the workings between the Seelie and Unseelie courts. It's missing a couple of books. I think. There's a couple of others.
In the book about the courts, is there like a page in like a family tree star hierarchy of the current members of the court?
So the family trees for both the Seelie and Unseelie court appear to be covered in volumes 3 and 8 that are missing from this collection.
Ooh, interesting. I think Tommy is like going through all of the rank and file books, looking for any that have dirty pictures in, and basically going open. No, no.
So there is a magic mirror that appears to be very, very similar to the one that you saw in Bavlorna's cottage. That was how you arrived in this place to begin with.
Ooh.
Sure. This might be our journey onward then.
Yep. And you can see there's also there's a desk where she appears to have been creating more of the wanted posters that you have seen dotted about. That is, yeah. Cool. You notice that so there are a couple of potions within the same desk in like a little box that's not locked. So it is it's a murky red coloured potion.
I'll identify all of the potions later.
Okay, cool.
But you can if you want to give me the names now, so I can add them to the inventory.
Yeah, it's a potion of octopus strength.
It increases your strength by 8 times?
No, it will give you a strength score of 4.
That's not a big reduction for Tommy. That's an extra -1. No.
You do notice things. So, other than the potion,
I will give that potion to Tommy and go and tell him what it does, and it'll make someone incredibly weak.
I can have some fun with that.
I thought you could.
Sorry, there are 2 of those potions as well.
In that case, the second one goes to Fenwick.
Cool.
Excellent.
So there is a varnished.
One of you can sneak it into someone's drink. The other one can talk it into someone's drink.
There is a varnished human eyeball that has been turned into a pendant necklace. The actual necklace appears to be constructed of woven hair.
If I cast Identify on that, do I get anything?
Not as far as I'm aware. It appears to be a focus of some description.
Right.
There is a black feathered quill that appears to always have ink. That is worth 150 gold pieces. If you are casting Identify, then yeah, it is magically able to keep itself inked. And there is a tiny clockwork toad that you can wind up. Upon an investigation check, it's not a magical. Can I have an investigation check for the toad, as it's technically not a. Oh, that is a beautiful roll.
I got 11, so I'm like, I don't know. Does anyone else want to have a look at this?
I do.
So
I hand it over whilst I'm busy identifying everything else.
With that perfect score, yeah, it's quite a clever design. It's a little wind up toad that if you were to wind up, it looks like it will hop along. Without winding it up, you also notice that there is an aerosol nib within its mouth, and there seems to be a greenish, poisony looking potion inside. You're able to deduce that this probably will spray a poison mist at whatever it's hopping towards.
Hell yes.
Okay, who wants this quill that will never run out of ink?
I'm not brought for book learning.
Fenwick might be useful for writing.
Sure.
So give that to Fenwick. The eyeball on the necklace of hairs, I might just smash it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it will.
Unless anyone objects, I'll say this is just a focus, and I mean I assume it's hers, or was hers, and it's been used for lots of very bad things, and I kind of just don't want it to exist anymore.
Creepy as shit.
Is it not to be cursed? I'm not worried. I'm not one for immediately destroying her possessions, just in case the person doing so will, meet a terrible end. But please, by all means.
Screw it. Bam! Hammer!
Splat.
Can you roll me a d6, please?
A d6. 4.
You are cursed 4 times.
Okay. Oh, there's 2. Do you like
good.
odds
High
or
times,
evens?
that's it.
I like evens.
You like evens. Okay. Cool. Then, yeah, I'm going to pick... It was even, by the way, so I'm going to pick that one. You are transformed into a toad.
Does the toad still have a tiny hammer?
For the sake of this, yes. No. The hammer is also transformed into a snail.
It's a snail on a stick.
Yeah.
You know what? That's unusual. Hey, you, one of yous, I got a job for you. I'll call up to the skeleton.
And you can slowly hear the clattering of bones start to get louder and louder and louder, and kind of like smashing of like wood, and you're noticing that doors are being knocked ajar as 25 skeletons charge into the room. Yes, boss.
Seeing this chaos, Tommy is immensely pleased. I'll point at one of them and say, right, you stay here. You 24, go back where you came from.
So the one that stays there gives you a salute.
Gradually more destroyed.
Yeah, and then you see the charge.
I will pick up Frogia and I'll sort of like gesture and see if Frog Freya wants to be picked up.
Nah, Frog Freya's going to ride around on her owl.
There you go. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh, there's a thought. Has my mind been turned into a frog, Mike?
All good questions. No, you keep your mind.
In that case, you will hear the owl speak and go, my mistress speaks thusly. This is
Ribbit.
annoying.
Cool. Okay. Right, shall we go and have a look at upstairs, see what the oh no, so we're in the bottom floor of this one.
Yes.
So we go back in the kitchen.
So the kitchen has been just trampled. So yeah, the stove's been ripped apart. The wooden surfaces have been knocked down. As it looks like a kitchen if a whole bunch of Vikings and an army of skeletons charged through it multiple times. So
Did we? I can't remember what we decided to do in the end. Did the girl go down into the basement cellar thing, or did we pretend she was still chained up?
We pretended she was still chained up, so she would now be with the other kids.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
so yes. So
We follow through into this room then.
So at this point, I'm going to say about a minute has passed and Freya regains her regular form. You also hear a slight clatter in the other room, perhaps if a snail suddenly turned back into a hammer.
Oh no, I was holding onto the snail hammer in my.
Oh,
front
you're
hand.
holding on to this. Okay, cool. In that case, yep, Freya with hammer in hand is returned to regular size.
I think what would probably happen is Freya would feel it start to revert and immediately jump off her owl, transform in midair, and just come crashing down. I will voluntarily take a d6 of damage for that. That was 6.
Can you make an acrobatics save? I'm curious to see how graceful you are.
Ooh. 16 total. Got +1.
Oh, not bad. I'll let you take half that damage then.
Okay, I'm still in temporary hit points either way.
Cool. So there's a couple of things of note in this area. So firstly, you notice that there are several suits of armor that have been spread across the floor, and you can see that there are sword holes jabbed into them. I'll also describe this room, but just before I do, you hear a tapping at that door. It's
Knives out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you open the door, or you just stood there?
Can
I will
roll
mage hand open the door.
Okay.
Okay. At which point the
Doing
clockwork. I can't say that word.
Clockwork.
Thank you. I got stuck in a loop there. Bird comes flying towards you, Rich, and drops a familiar-looking note in your hand.
Open it up.
Was it just...
And it is indeed stop haunting me. I can't remember the exact words, but I think there are expletives in there. And then it flies in the direction of the aviary that you came from initially. Right. So this room has 3 doors and a wood-carved staircase that ascends to a higher level. The walls are a dense tangle of tree roots and brambles, nestled amongst which are 5 animated portraits. One of svelte, a dark-haired woman, and the others depicting hags. This is the room I accidentally talked about in the previous session.
This is where the kids do their work.
The kids work in the area directly above you.
Oh, okay.
But the portraits of the hags. So 2 of them you've already met. You've got Bavlorna and. Thank you. My brain is melting in the heat.
Fine.
Rich, you hear a voice in your head again that nudges and says, I know that 3rd one. And then you've got the other one which is the one that I posted in the group chat last time, which looks to be like a queen hag of some description.
Presumably that one is the one who used to run this place.
Yes. Yeah, you've got Baba Yaga, Bavlorna, a skeletal hag wearing a black theatrical contraption resembling a dress. You could well be correct in that guess.
Sorry, what was that?
Endelin.
Right.
You've got a hag with a wind-up key in her back, one empty eye socket, and a wooden eye held in her hand. This is Scabatha. You've just murked. And a svelte, dark-haired woman with a commanding presence, which you... Oh, there is a picture. I didn't think there was one. Bear with me one moment.
So remind me, what was the portrait that we were asked to bring back for?
She. So.
Was it a portrait of her that she wanted back?
She wanted. I think she wanted you to steal her sister's portrait, but if you.
Oh, so the portrait of the clockwork key.
Yes, but one moment.
We can take them all out and just roll them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a bonus for bringing all of them.
Maybe.
Potion coming out. Ish. So I'm trying to.
Sure,
very-
she'll take a kind deed to the death of her sister.
Probably not, but she doesn't have to know immediately. I mean, she might know, but possibly it's possibly it's in her best interests. Maybe this this creates a power vacuum that she can.
She's after Scabatha's portrait.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely grab that. As you said, might as well grab the others.
Cool. Who is reaching for the portrait?
I mean, Tommy's happy to pull out a +1 dagger, and but can I check for traps? Is there any kind of way of checking?
Yeah, I will allow either an investigation or perception check for that
I
one.
mean, my dude, you know what it's got to be.
But
19.
I like 19. Was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there does appear to be a spring-loaded mechanism. You can't see what it links back to, so you're not sure what would trigger. But you do know that the trigger would be if a portrait is removed. But seeing that, you can then wedge that sort of locked in. Oh. Unfortunately, you slip and accidentally trigger the trap.
That's fair.
So.
Yeah, so you guys sit watching Tommy work, and it's this sort of very fluid, graceful movements, and then like an approaching steam train, you just hear shit.
I was half expecting to just hear a sneeze and then a uh-oh.
So you don't take any damage.
I don't believe you.
No. You don't. You don't. The wording of this is ambiguous, but I'm going to rule it in a particular way. So, the 4 of the portraits. So, the one that's the pictures of all the hags. So not the one I've just linked. They change, and so they resemble. So you've got Mr. Light, Mr. Witch, your dagger throwing partner,
my teacher or Prince of Mice.
Prince of Mice, and then the old lady who was looking at. That's the one, and the portraits change to show those 4 figures, and then they revert back to their original form.
Who was that last one? Sorry.
Mama Rabbit is the lady who looked after me.
Do all of us see that, or is it just Tommy?
You all see that, yes. So.
Does it look like it was a trap, or was it just
So mechanically, what happened when you triggered the trap? So as you can see in the photo, there are sort of branches around the place, and thorns popped out, and one of them jabbed you, and at that point, the 4 of the pictures changed to resemble.
But it didn't harm me in any way. Does this feel like it was a trap intended to harm, or is this like a feature, not a bug?
It is difficult to the thorns. The thorns weren't thick enough or traveling fast enough to cause any serious damage. But you are unsure if the trap failed to go off as planned, or if this was a design of it without knowing more behind the designer's intention.
Okay, hold on. 10 minutes. Identify. Actually, no. I will cast Identify using a spell slot. Just so that it happens instantly.
Do you have to...
Oh, no, I have to do it as a ritual.
No.
So...
Means I have to be touching the source of the magic for 11 minutes.
Is the dragon still with us?
The dragon is not with you. He's currently back at the
Oh, there's a
in
good
the
point.
loft.
Maybe we could ask the kids before we start touching things, because they might know. One of them's probably touched it.
I was just gonna force the dragon to touch it. He's not here. Not here.
No, I mean, what if we go and find out if the Vikings left anyone alive, like Toffee Head or whatever his name was.
Sure. Well, let's head up for now.
Yeah. We don't have to do everything here now. We can do it later, after we've cleared out everything of value.
I guess we have to cut if we are intending on taking the portrait to satisfy the deal. We have to cut back here.
Well,
Anyway.
It's the ground floor of the tower, so if we go up, we have to come back through anyway.
Yes.
Right,
Are we
yeah,
moving over here, Mike?
head on upstairs.
That is correct. Do you want me to move? I know you guys have got this. Well done. So,
We all moved to different squares. I'm so proud of us.
Second time in a row. Don't jinx it.
so
This is the workroom.
Yeah, so this is a textile mill. So there are 3 large freestanding looms dominating this chamber. So at the moment, there's no one in it. Once again, you can see the remains of a wildly stabbed piece of armor.
Beautiful.
Very good.
So
Are there kids in here?
not at the moment, because this is still. I mean, you're looking at half 12 at night.
But this isn't where they sleep. This is just where they're supposed to work.
Correct. Yes.
Give it a quick once over.
What were they making?
So they are weaving fabric. They appear to be being turned into clothes. Some of them are quite small, as if they're designed for dolls, and then others are looking like they're more for humanoid figures.
I got a 18 on perception to see what I can see.
Okay, so
And if
okay. Can I also have a perception check from everybody as well, please?
Probably not.
do you happy to use my my 18, or do you need to roll a second one?
No. If you've already rolled perception, sorry, it's because it's not appearing on here. I forget that you've actually rolled. So
I've got some very nice dice that are kind of sparkly that I want to use.
yeah. I will never stop you rolling your shiny math rocks. So so Freya and Tommy, there is something else in the room with you.
Is it invisible?
Yes. They're hiding up on the rafters of this. They're not invisible. They're just very well hidden.
Oh, okay.
And they they look like they're kind of a murky purple. They're kind of the size of perhaps a small goblin, except the head is about 4 times larger. Let me just copy that. I can't remember if I put this in the thing, so I will paste that in there. Wait for that to process.
Oh, shit, yeah. Oh, blimey. You want to come down from there? He watches over us.
Are you with the clickety-clack men?
Looks a bag of dice. What do you mean the clickety-clack, man? Oh, what, the skeletons?
Yes, the skeletons. They come, they kill the protector.
Who's the protector?
And one of them extends sort of a hand, and you can see it's kind of dripping with some kind of oil, and it points towards the now destroyed suit of armor. on the floor.
Right.
The Protector.
Well, it depends. Are you working with Scabatha?
We. There we go. Sorry, leant on my microphone and ripped out the cord. We are freelancers.
Right. How many of these are there?
There are 3 in total.
3 in total. And you were working here imprisoning these kids, right? You were putting the little bastards to work?
No. We did not capture the children. We were making the best of a bad situation, but the children were already here.
Can I roll insight?
Yeah, of course you can.
Can't, but I can try. Damn, 2 17s in a row.
Let's see what they. Oh, that's
Oh,
a
it
very
didn't
low roll.
actually roll.
It did roll. It didn't roll, but it did cast a spell.
Yeah, it cast the spell. So yes, what I do is I cast sleep. Just above, so it gets them, but not us.
Okay. So while you're casting that, Tommy, they are being partially truthful. They definitely did not capture.
Oh,
the
come
children,
on!
There was more to this situation than is going on. So one of the boggles drops to the floor asleep, and the other 2 go, okay, fair cop. How about a fair trade? We will happily give you our oil, and you will allow us to leave this place.
What do you mean your oil? What does it do?
Our oil has many uses. So,
Could I roll nature to see if Tommy knows?
Yeah, go for it.
Eldritch 20.
So the boggle oil. So these are boggles. The oil itself doesn't have any magical properties, but it is. It will act. It is a particularly versatile oil that can be used to make things slippery, to lubricate things. It's mildly toxic to humans, but other races may use it as a cooking oil. So it has the advantage that the oil itself will evaporate after an hour. So if left on the floor or something, so it's sometimes referred to as a self-cleaning oil. But if it's within machinery, for example, it will last longer, but it will still evaporate, so you will need a constant source of it.
So that was what they were kept here for, was to lubricate machinery?
Yes.
You know what I think? I mean, feel free to overrule, lads, but I'm pretty good without your weird hand grease.
I'll take a vial from. I'll take a vial from each of you.
Very well, very well. And they'll kind of clamber down, and they will go. Where are we going? So they rustle over in these boxes here, and pull out a couple of vials that they'll fill up with the oil for you. We may leave.
A deal is a deal.
They will pick up their unconscious friend and begin dragging them out and down the stairs.
Then Fenwick will follow them down the stairs.
Sure. So they are. So they're making their way out into the garden.
When they get to the bottom floor, can one of them make a wisdom save, please?
They absolutely can. That is I don't think there. That is a 10.
As he points at the picture and at the brambles, the thorns, and he says "touch," and they are compelled to touch it. So
they touch it. They have that's a fail. The thorns. You see it jab, and he retracts his finger, and you see there are four pictures of more oily looking boggles. So 2 seem to be about the same age, but there are also 2 that are older, more parental in appearance.
Didn't he show you your family?
It may do.
That's if Tommy has that. Just Tommy doesn't see this.
Hmm.
No.
I mean, Tommy's already touched it. He's seen his family.
But I don't think he made that connection. So, yeah.
Fair.
At that point, do they then? Because once they finish their command, they continue.
It's the weaker form. It's literally they do it for 6 seconds and then back to normal.
Cool.
They
Okay,
use their action on the next turn to do it, so you can still technically move and bonus this turn.
Okay, cool, perfect. Yeah, they will continue. Fenwick, you're the only one that sees this, but you see the owl that Tommy sent is returning, and it doesn't have a note, but it is covered in blood, as it is then flying towards the aviary.
Immediately, without even questioning, they immediately just brilliant. Yeah, perfect.
The whole thing.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh.
Like, no hesitation. That wasn't even like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Can we root around in these boxes in here, see if there's anything?
Yeah. So firstly, there's along the windows as motivational toys. There's a set of nesting dolls. So there's a set of nesting dolls in which each doll looks more frightened than the next larger one. There's a stuffed lion with needles for teeth and real blood stains around its jaws. That's
getting hammered.
There's a set of playing cards depicting weeping children. There is 4 finger puppets depicting an arguing family, and there is a 1-foot-tall wooden guillotine. I assume they're all getting hammered
and burned.
Yeah, I can't hammer the cards, but they can definitely get burned.
Hammering
the guillotine, hammering the needle mouth lion thing.
Cool. Right. And 2 moments. Just have to.
Given they're in different windows, can Fenwick attempt to sleight of hand the playing cards?
You absolutely can try. Given the.
No, I can't. I'm downstairs.
Oh yes, of course you are. Yes.
Ignore me.
You just wanted pictures of children suffering, huh?
You never know when that can come in handy if you want to convince a child about to do something.
You have suggestion.
Which is more moral? Which is more moral? Magically compelling them to do something or threatening them?
Why waste a spell slot? Morality?
It's still pretty morally murky either way.
So, within the actual storeroom, there's slightly more palatable things. There's a gold bodkin, which is worth 2 gold pieces. A pouch holding 35 silver pieces, although you don't recognize the minting. There's a small leather-bound book containing delicate sketches and watercolor paintings of pixies, sprites, and other fae, and that is worth 50 gold pieces.
You're noting all this, right, Joe?
I am. I'm putting it into the...
yeah, I see it. I thought I saw you doing it somewhere and I was just searching for it. So, have we looted this room?
I would say so, yes.
Right, back downstairs.
Back down to the...
Oh, the looms are all completely smashed, right?
Depends. Are you smashing the looms?
Oh, they weren't smashed by the berserkers.
Oh yeah, they would have been. Oh God, that's a very good point. Yeah, no, they're gone.
Cool.
Yeah, that was happening either way if
Yeah.
if they hadn't.
Lovely.
Does anything happen with Fenwick before the rest of them rejoin him?
So, no.
Have you been sending secret messages, Richard?
No.
No.
Is there a reason I don't believe you?
Very uncharacteristic of me.
Ooh, actually, you know what?
The whole
Something-
room is ablaze.
No, the whole room is not ablaze. Give me one moment. You are. Sorry. This is. It's a very weird thing that happens, which is why I have to just check.
I assumed if something did happen, it would be weird.
So.
Oh, that's basically the tagline for this entire series.
Fair.
So, yes.
If you need another minute, I need to go quickly do.
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, just I will type out the response.
Cool. I'm gonna go grab a drink as well then.
Mike, while everyone's away, just to share this idea, I think I might know what I want to do with that coin I got.
Oh yes,
You know the trip to anywhere in any realm?
yes.
Do you know what a rage room is?
I can imagine from context, but
It's like an escape room, but it's just full of breakable shit, and you can go and pay to beat on stuff with bats and stuff.
nice. Okay.
So I imagine Tommy's parents' house has been tied up legally since the divorce. So if I wanted us to just take a quick trip to hell to fucking wreck house in the mansion, in the hell mansion that that neither of them are allowed to live in because it's tied up in a legal dispute. That might be what I want to use that coin for.
Yes, you absolutely
just,
can.
just reference it.
That's gonna be beautiful.
Well, so yeah, this entire session is just going to be looting, which that might slow us down a bit, Mike.
Yes, and in some respects, I'm kind of happy with that because I was hoping to have the rich escape event sorted before you transition to the next area.
Well,
So-
I suppose the transition is where it would likely happen, wouldn't it?
So
Like the last
Well,
time we got the vault during a transition.
yes, but this one you've got a lot more control over because
Ooh.
as the message from me implied, you have to use the Lucius's ring on a magic mirror, and then that will take you where you need to go.
Do we have Lucius's ring?
That is,
Was it on him, maybe?
I mean, he's still back at the tent.
Fucking tiny hut.
Yeah,
Is he? Oh, Christ, yes.
I
I
believe
thought she put him in a
Tumble.
pocket dimension or something.
No, I believe Tumblestrum promised to keep him safe, but that would probably extend to the repeated casting of Tiny Hut,
Mm.
as opposed to moving him anywhere.
I missed.
I've sent you a message, but other than that, with regards to how to do Lucius's escape event, you would need. It was just a reminder of what I said before. You need to use Lucius's ring on any of the magic mirrors. So obviously, there's one here. There's one back where you left Lucius, where you first arrived.
Yeah.
Um,
So they are
So-
sort of dotted around the various
Yeah.
realms.
yes, exactly. It's the ring will act as a postal address, a magical postal address.
Cool.
So
Tell that to the rest.
say again, sorry.
Does he tell that to the rest of us? Whoever asked that question.
I think that's just said out to the party.
Yeah. Sort of recapping stuff we'd already been told as a group.
Yeah,
Does that not come from one of the deck of many things cards goes to a player.
It did, but because it's a question asked directly to the DM, I say that's
We're all
That
imbued with that knowledge.
yeah, that is
Was that the
vocalized
one that Tommy asked with his?
correct.
Yeah, in which case he'd have shared it straight up as well. So you definitely know.
Fenwick has the ring.
Fenwick has the ring. Interesting.
Cool.
Right.
Okay. We'll carry on searching then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Poking through these storerooms and whatnot.
So you are now in. So you can hear the squelching of bones as the skeleton army comes around outside, and you hear the the boggles shout, "Oh, they're coming back!" And then they're just trampled into the ground as the skeletons just charge over them.
I almost feel bad.
That
It all curls down.
yeah, that that imagery is mostly for me, so I'll move on with a less indulgent storyline. So next you've got storage cupboards. So unsurprisingly, moths cluster around a lantern that hangs from the ceiling in the middle of the hallway, casting flitting shadows on the wall. The hall contains 3 sliding doors along the walls, and a heavier hinge door stands at the opposite end. So there's a collection of bric-a-brac. I will ask for an investigation roll. This one does need to be an investigation roll, alas.
Can Abraxas help me?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Ooh, that is an 18. No, sorry, it's a 15.
So, Fenwick, you think you found one of those little punching, like boxing robot things, but as you pick it up, it just shatters into 100 different cogs and springs. As it is disintegrated by time.
A rock and second robot.
So, yeah, that's. I had forgotten the name. So, okay, so Freya, you have found a golden pendant charm shaped like a leprechaun. Tommy, you have found a salt shaker shaped like a wizard's tower, and a spool of glistening silver thread. These, like several of the other things you've collected, count as Feywild trinkets that some of the shops ask as currency. So
All 3 of those.
So Freya gets the golden leprechaun pendant, and then you get the salt shaker and the silver thread.
Sure.
So there is something. There is in the larger area. Fenwick, you missed this entirely. Freya, it is a human-sized cocoon. Tommy, it's a human-sized cocoon, and something inside it is breathing.
Right. There's something live in there. You want to open it up?
Can do.
I'm going to feel bad if it's someone in there who doesn't deserve to be in there, is the thing.
Yeah. Tell you what, I cast Fairy Fire on the cocoon.
Okay.
Ow! Loki just jumped on me. Yeah, they need to make a dexterity saving throw.
If they're restrained, they automatically fail.
Yeah, they will. So, what happens if they fail? I forget the actual wording of Fairy Fire.
I'll throw it in there.
Thank you very much. Lovely. It's a 20-foot cube. There we go. Cool. Right. Okay. So.
Outlined in violet light for me.
Okay. So the light burns away the cocoon, and there is a small girl wearing a pig mask, who you recognise is from the mirror from the carnival.
Oh, fuck no.
So she's kind of
Does she
rubbing her
still
up.
have my wings? Because she had them last time.
We've got your
She-
wings now with the wand.
Yeah, I know.
So she doesn't have anything on her person that you can see. There's definitely no wings that you can see.
Do I get the sense that do I and did I get the sense that she isn't actually a small girl? She's just taking on the form of one.
With everything that's happened, that is, yeah. Now that you can see her up close, her skin is tinged blue. You can see between the eyes that they're not human eyes that are staring back at you. This thing is not human, nor is it a child. I thought you might. I imagine this is going to be a very quick fight, but
It will be as I use a free action to whistle and go, lads.
And every single attack has advantage against her.
From 32 of my soldiers, yes.
We just step back out for a smoke break or something?
Yeah, I'm just imagining that you whistle and then you step back into the other two cupboards as just the horde of skeletons. They all rush into the large.
Looney style, and the horde passes over, and it's one animation of repeated 25 times like Scooby-Doo, and then just dead.
The cupboard isn't large enough to hold all 25. So as it reaches capacity, you then see skeletons are then knocked through the wooden walls, and they rejoin the queue to get into the cupboard, and it basically turns into some whirly-durly of death.
See,
Yeah,
Benny Hill bloodbath.
Yeah. Luckily, yes, that was indeed. It's a ghoul, effectively. You have not just trampled a small girl with a medical condition. So,
Let's face it, it will be on brand for us.
yeah.
Well, there's 3 crits in there, so... Oh, sorry, 4 crits in there.
I mean,
And that's just from the skeletons.
yeah. She even if the skeletons did just 1 point of trampling damage each, she's still dead.
Good.
Like, I have no regrets about giving you these skeletons. I'm very happy. Ooh. So, there is very little that
Left of
remains of that cupboard or its contents. However, there is a singular item that looks miraculously undamaged. It is a horn of some description.
Does it look like it might be a unicorn horn?
That would be a very likely scenario, yes.
Excellent.
That was easy. She says, just looking at 25 skeletons.
Yeah, they're now charging back outside. I'm unsure
They
where
are
they're going.
very good at clearing a room, it has to be said.
Yeah, fucking cleaning house. I feel like this has got to be one. This is a bit like the deck of many things. I'm just going to promise never to use it again.
So, but yeah, there's nothing left in there. So moving into the next area. Here there are 6 sets of armor, once again trampled, stabbed. Somehow there's a bite mark in one of them, but let's not question how that occurred. These ones, the armor seems to be made of tin as opposed to sort of regular iron. You also notice that there's what might have been a couple of bits of cogs, springs, and things like that. But it's so trampled at this stage that you can't make.
See, the thing,
much
while the
more.
berserkers were coming through here, they would have been surprising each group of the enemies one at a time.
Yep.
And Yeah. So in a fair fight, this could have gone differently, but I'm not particularly interested in fair fights.
No. Well, the fact that the skeletons joined them almost immediately as well, that's why I didn't even. If it was just the Vikings, I would have then done some rolls to see if they got thinned out, but they've,
But then we suddenly
all-
had backup.
yeah, they've all just been murked. So they're all dead. Okay, so if you're heading upstairs, you notice that this area is considerably less damaged than anywhere else, and inside there are carrying several children. It is clear that the skeletons have not entered this area, although the Vikings, you can see some footprints on the dusty floor.
Cool. These so the kids, are they like chained up?
No, you get the impression that the guards downstairs would have kept them at bay.
Cool. Yeah, it's gonna say, right there, boys and girls, how you doing?
So they're all going to be carrying on the corner, but when they see that you are not Faye, they're like, "Are you here to save us?"
I think we already have, love. We're gonna be letting you go. Scabatha's not gonna bother you no more, nor the armor or the we're little purple shitheads. And you can go and live in the treehouse with your pal, okay?
Oh, he said he'd be back for us. Ah, we'd almost given up hope. Is it safe now?
Give it 10 minutes. Just hang out here while we check the rest of the place, okay?
Okay. And you can see that there is even already there's a fake floorboard, and they've got a couple of possessions that they've managed to stash that they're then retrieving.
Yeah. And so something up.
Yeah.
On a stick.
That is exactly the same image that I had. Yes.
Little hobo
Yes,
bindle.
very much so. So where do you want to go? Do you want to go there or there?
The first one, I reckon, and then we'll move down to the other one after.
Sure thing. So this is going to be the sewing room. Okay. So, 2 moments. I just need to double check because there's.
Ooh, good, my doodle.
So, yeah, no, he's going to be gone as well. So there's bits of stuffing spread material stuffing, not the food stuff.
Like flushes.
Yeah. Imagine if a bull had got into a Build-A-Bear workshop. That's the kind of. So there's just.
I'd love to imagine that. Thank you for that.
You're more than welcome. So yeah, there is just stuffing everywhere. There's also the remains of smashed sewing machines. There's ripped bits of fabric. This appears to be a second labour area where the woven cloth is then fashioned into specific items. But once again, this is all destroyed. Can I have a investigation check from you, please?
I'd love to.
Perception check is also allowed as well for this one.
Lovely. That is a 23.
Okay, so okay, so both Fenwick and Freya, you notice that there is hidden between the remains of what were possibly 2 workstations. There is a small bag that's got that has sort of warning signs imprinted across it. Because of your roles, you're able to retrieve this without any issue whatsoever. It is it's a pouch containing a small amount of dust of corrosion.
Ah,
So I'm going to. I will allow the identify spell to be cast on the bag rather than having to touch its contents.
Thank you.
That is fine. So, as an action, you can throw this. You know what? I'm just going to.
Can link it.
Yeah. Do I do that? That's not what I wanted. That's just a picture of a steampunk crab.
Apparatus of Qualish.
Okay, hold on.
That steampunk crab that you once drove home from the Barrier Peaks.
Yes. So, we'll. Okay. Yeah. So there is enough for a single use of that, and it will. It's particularly harmful to metal. Yes. Tommy, you find a spool of barbed golden yarn worth 15 gold pieces, 3 bolts of silk in shades of putrid green and cesspit brown. That's 10 gold each. A set of
so two yarns of thread. No, sorry, 2 spools of cloth.
So do you want me just to link it, because that's going to be. There you go.
Thank
So
you.
a spool of barbed golden yarn, 3 bolts of silk in shades of putrid green, cesspit brown, a set of 5 painted thimbles depicting poisonous Feywild plants.
Well, thank you.
Right. That is all there is in that particular area. So if we move into this one, so this is the workshop. So the flickering lanterns illuminate a clustered workshop filled with soft ambient music produced by bells and chimes. Parts of toys are heaped on the tables, leering dolls' heads, half-built rocking horses, unpainted wooden bulls, and the stuffed limbs of soft toys. A stove at the back of the room holds a saucepan of smeltering metal, although at this stage it is solid at the moment. 3 doors exit the workshop, and 2 storefront windows overlook the market outside. I like that reference. Right.
That was a real gleeful giggle there.
There's the crushed remains of, again, a couple of suits of armor, and what might have been a boggle. It's difficult. It got trampled too many times, but you can tell because there's kind of a streak of oil, and there's also a skeleton-shaped splash mark within it, as if one of them's fallen into it and then got back up. So, just to continue the.
Yeah, that tracks.
Cool. So these things are out in the open. I'm not going to make you search for them because they're not hidden at all. So there's a jar of iridescent glass eyes. All but one of them has been smashed. However, you are able to obtain one of them, and that is worth 1 gold piece. There is a silver hammer and chisel in a green leather tool belt. That's 15 gold pieces. And iron metalworking tongs shaped like the jaws of a snapping dragon. And that I will once again add to the chat.
You're a gem.
Where it saves you having to write that out.
Minuting.
Yes. However, I'm just going to hit that. There we go. To reflect. Because I can't see them surviving contact with skeletons, so. Righty ho, and towards that area, we've got that, or you've got the marketplace outside.
Well, there's no door out to the marketplace from here. There's windows. Oh yeah, peek through the peer through the windows.
I mean, you don't even have to. I mean, the glass is all smashed at this stage. There are several skeleton-shaped holes through the walls as well, where they appear to have charged out, and the guards that you saw out here earlier, they're dead now. So Tommy, you're there. So you're within the parlor. So this chamber is nestled between walls of twisted roots. Through gaps, you can see the eerily beautiful woodland surrounding you. A closed door stands opposite the root bridge. Well, it's not closed because you've opened it. I'm guessing they assumed you to come in through this way, but they didn't count on you guys. So, a painted wooden box 3 feet on a side rests in a corner. A crank protrudes from one side of it, causing it to resemble an oversized jack-in-the-box.
I'm just going to stay away from that.
Very cast.
So there are 4 chairs, two of which have been smashed, one of which is bleeding.
Bleeding, you say?
Yes.
Oh. Can I investigate the chair?
You absolutely can. That is a private roll. If you're able to make that public.
I most certainly am. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, 28, yeah. So upon closer inspection, you can see beneath the initial cushion there are a row of very sharp teeth.
Was the chair a mimic?
It almost definitely was a mimic, but did not survive the mass trampling of 25 skeletons and 8 Vikings. The other chair, which is not bleeding, was just a regular chair.
Nice. Did we check upstairs in the... Oh, no, we did, because that's just...
Yeah, I believe we've covered every indoor area now.
Yes.
I believe so.
So you've got...
So I guess head back up to the kids and tell them, right, you're free to go. We've taken care of everything. Off your pop.
Is your boy here, the kid?
The one from the kitchen.
So that guy in the kitchen is the dwarf.
Yeah,
The
what's
young
he
girl.
getting there?
So the young girl was up with the children.
But what about was it Will? Where's Peter Pan? Is what I'm asking.
Oh,
He stayed back, didn't he, while we went in?
Yeah, he's currently waiting at the entrance.
He's been waiting for over 8 hours.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, if we head out the front and try and signal him.
You don't need to signal him. Surprisingly, he was awoken by the trampling of multiple skeletons, Vikings, and the screams of the guards. So he's watching from afar, giggling to himself.
All right, we'll wave him over.
Yeah, so he jogs across, and he'll happily escort the children back to
Safety.
safety. Thank
Relative
you. That
safety.
is- yeah. Well, there's apart from the Jabberwock, there's very little left. If we so there's a selection of mushrooms in the garden over here.
I'm not sure I want to be
and the-
touching any of those.
No, I think we're good.
You've got a selection of red-capped mushrooms over there, although some have been squished. Oh no,
we were told not to
upon-
pick those.
Yeah.
No, of course, because the moment one gets trampled, they'd all activate. So they are actual red caps.
Red Caps is in the Fae.
Yes.
Oh shit.
So, but they're all dead. A cursory glance would appear that one or two got stepped upon, activating them all, who leapt up to engage, but were immediately trampled back down.
Just one
actually-
shit back in the soil.
That's a point. The kids, would they be able to tell us anything about these mushrooms?
So
Rather than just the red caps, I mean the other mushrooms. Like, would they be able to tell us? Oh yeah, this one's basically a potion of healing. This one is a potion of invisibility. Blah 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 blah. I mean, not in so many words, but
she knows that some of them contain magical properties. She doesn't know which ones do what. However, any of you are free to make a nature check.
7. Maybe I could just cast Identify on. You pick one of each color and then cast Identify on them.
Yeah.
Does that not require? It has to be a magical object that you touch, does it not?
Let me just double check. Identify. You choose one object that you must touch throughout the casting of the spell. If it is a magic item or some other magic imbued object, you learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement to use, and how many charges it has, if any. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by a spell, you learn which spell created it.
Right. Okay. So some of them won't. You won't be able to identify. However, there are two. There is one that appears to have the properties of the Feign Death spell, and there is one that appears to be under the influence of illusion magic. Specifically, it will make you look older.
Right. Should we have a check of the old market stalls?
Yes, let's do that.
I feel like we've missed an area.
It looks like there are some
There.
pens over here.
2 moments. Okay, yeah. No. So where are you off to now?
Stalls.
It's a market, I guess.
Yeah.
Market. So the stalls are trampled, the guards are dead, the vendors are dead, but their wares are now covered in mud, but are still the same. They are candied bugs.
Oh, I remember, yeah. I don't think there's anything we want here.
They contain no magical properties, just to preempt the...
Slew of identify spells.
Yes.
For sure. I think we got her and it's not nailed down, lads.
I think so.
A few things that were nailed down, but have since been burst.
If you are when you were looking, can I have a perception check from Tommy and Fenwick, please? Because this occurs while
Which check, sorry?
perception.
16.
Because this occurs while
Oh.
Freya is identifying the mushrooms in this
Lovely.
area. Lovely. You notice this thing here. And that is actually so creaking softly, a rocking horse moves back and forth near the door. Peeling paint covers its limbs, and its rocker is thick with moss. A rictus grin is painted on its face. Near a protruding root is a painted wooden box, 3 feet on a side. A crank protrudes from one side of it, causing it to resemble an over-the-sized jack-in-the-box.
That's fucking creepy.
That's the second one of those we've seen, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, looking at the map, I can see a couple more that have probably been smashed.
Yeah.
Are you heading over
just
there
one.
to investigate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Can I have a raw int check? It says no. I'm gonna have investigation in case you guys are proficient in that.
17.
You all notice that there is a depression at the front of its head that looks like it may have once
Held a horn.
adorned a horn. Yes.
What happens if we put the horn we found in the cupboard into the slot on the head?
I thought you might ask that question. Haha. Lovely. So, the horn fits in with the rocking horse perfectly, and a transformation begins, and it transforms back into a unicorn.
Out of character.
Ah.
Didn't we need that?
Well, now we got the real deal.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Sorry, Karen.
heroes. My name is Elydian. How have I been saying it earlier?
Yeah, that's right.
Lydian.
Yeah.
Lydian. I have been frozen in place for so long.
You get your
Tell-
messes.
Lamora.
Yeah,
she's-
down at the pond.
Oh, well. I will. I cannot allow this good deed to go without reciprocation, for I still remember the old ways. If you will grant me temporary leave so that I may reunite with Lamora, I can then return to you and assist in your upcoming battles ahead.
Only if you want to. I'm not your boss.
So he will nod at you, and then he teleports himself away. Here are the things that he can do for you.
Ooh.
Ultralight.
Shit. It's pretty good.
So
He can't
Yeah.
unstick people from time, though.
he cannot. His horn may be able to, though.
We
But
have
it-
your horn back.
But it can still be attached to him when we use it.
You will have to find out, but the horn should retain its properties regardless of whether it is attached or not. So
Cool.
yeah, this is a game of whimsy and will not punish you for doing a good deed. Let me put it that way.
It was like when he said, heroes, and Tommy just began to sweat.
Yeah, so I mean, you've successfully there is now nothing else in this area, but I didn't want you to overlook that. Quite critical.
For real.
So, release the children?
Oh,
We've already done that.
Ah,
Children have already been returned safe.
I'll send like half a dozen skeletons after them to serve their will until they disappear.
Very nice. So, yeah, I think, unless there's anything else you want to do in this section,
I think we're all finished up.
cool. So, what will happen mechanically is you'll be allowed to take a long rest. At which point Elydian will return, and will help you activate the mirror so that you can travel to Yon. There was, unfortunately, the other guide that could have got you there has been travelled to death.
Was
but
that the one from the cocoon by any chance?
No. Oh, no. Technically, she had the power, but you'd have had to do some. Like, she wouldn't have helped you. You would have had to.
Was it the
force
Boglins by any chance then?
So it was the guy with the big pumpkin
The
head.
coffee apple head.
Yes. So
Oh, yeah,
actually
Yeah,
you've
do we
turned the
find
dragon-
mashed up bits of toffee apple on the ground somewhere?
Yes. Yeah. Out by the where you're currently standing, actually.
All right.
I forget the dragon that you have turned will also help you activate the portal. So, but
Cool.
he will not follow you. He,
All of
he
the
has a
creatures that died.
yes.
Can we loot all of them too?
There's nothing left worth looting unless you want to take up ground up toffee apple head. At which point we might have to review your morality and constitution score. Yeah,
That's fine.
there's like magically reanimated armor, and there were tin soldiers and stuff, but they have been destroyed beyond recognition at this stage.
If there's like a whole like van brace or something, just one bit of armor, he'll take it for decoration. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, there'll be remnants that you can take for decorative purposes, but they've lost any form of structural form. Yeah. But at that point, as we're going to have an early one, because we've only got 20 minutes left, and I don't really want to begin Yon with that short amount of time. Plus, hopefully, we will be able to do the Rich Rescue event.
Yeah.
So, but yes, you will. You will have leveled up.
Is it prepped for next session?
It is not. So I know what's happening, but there's a couple of sections that I haven't finished yet.
Right.
The idea I floated to you earlier, Mike, of what to do with my token.
Yes, I love it.
Would you like to save that? Do you actually want to plan something for that, or would you like that to?
I don't think it will take very long, but I would like to plan the flavour of it. So yes.
So level up.
Yes, indeedy.
Shall we do that now if we've got the time?
Yeah, you might as well. As I say, you'll be getting a long rest. So
well, I mean, assuming we're having a long rest now, and I'll stop the recording.
Tight.
Yeah,
What
I
do we
think
decide
that.
to do about the portraits before we do that?
Oh yes. Ask the kids if they know anything about the portraits.
Just that they're not allowed to touch them. But while they look at them every day, they've never actually. Yeah.
So I could try casting Identify on them, but I'd have to touch the thorns to do that. I'm willing to do it if you two can watch my back.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And yeah, pull me away if I start going into some kind of seizure or something.
I gotcha.
And I'm going to touch the thorns and cast Identify.
Okay, so because you're touching them for so long, you will get jabbed by the thorns. So two of the images are blurred out. It's as if the oils have just run, and so you can make out that there was some kind of portrait of something there, but you can't make out what. And then the other two would be there are a couple of people dressed in ceremonial robes who none of you immediately recognize, he says, loading up a secret message to someone.
I was honestly half expecting to see three of the portraits showing Tommy, Fenwick, and Lucius.
Didn't know you cared.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does.
Cool. Excellent. I'm glad. Cool. Yeah, okay. But that says you have then retrieved. Oh no, you've cast Identify, haven't you? So, the portraits themselves, they've got they're imbued with some kind of minor illusion magic. So the paintings that you can see of the 4 hags and then the humanoid lady, that is what's actually painted on there. But then there's some kind of illusionary spell over each of them that seems to trigger whenever someone is jabbed with the thorns.
And it shows, and were we correct in our guess at it, it shows that person's family.
Correct.
So yeah, Frail mentioned out loud, it's like, oh, apparently it just shows your family.
Tommy will jab himself on the thorn again, deliberately.
Are you thinking about anything in particular when you do, or is it the same as last time? Like, are you just curious as to see what happens?
Okay, so I think Tommy is very much hoping for one thing. He's hoping that he sees the same thing again.
Yeah. So, which is what happens.
Cool.
There's no there's no change.
All right.
Cool.
So yeah, take down the photos, draw some Widdershin spirals on the back of each of them, with water, so it leaves a faint watermark in that spiral, so it's not immediately obvious, but it's there.
Cool.
Roll them up, and then go, do we want to take these back immediately, or should we, or just loop around later?
I think that's up to you. You're the one with something to gain.
Oh, I'm not looking to gain something. I am looking to take her out of the equation before we have some kind of big confrontation somewhere. Just in case. I'd rather have less hags hanging, looming over our shoulders.
Girl after my own heart.
If that's the goal, why do you need the portrait at all?
Subterfuge.
Worth keeping. They're magic items.
Yeah.
I'll also, can I break off one of the thorns from around here?
Yeah.
Once we've, cut the paintings out the canvas, and I'll just hold them as, rolled up canvas and stuff. If I jab myself in the leg with a thorn, does the same thing happen even though they've been removed from the...
So are you jabbing it with a thorn that's in place or one that you've broken off? Then nothing happens apart from you get spiked slightly.
So that's fine. Cool.
Cool. Lovely. Right. Well, in that case, I think we can call the recording there.
Fantastique.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, just for planning's sake.
Oh, yeah.
For you, I would like to go back and just take out another hag real quick.
That is absolutely fine. Yeah, that stuff.
Assuming the other two don't object to going and murking another hag.
I'm all up for mayhem, my dude. I mean, we won't have the backing of 7 berserkers this time because I can only do that once a week.
That's why we're doing this as a here you go, here's a gift, backstab.
Yeah.
Plus, also we've got the entire court.
Very good at backstabbing.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in some traits, maybe.
Anyway, I'm stopping the recording now.